Something really, really weird is going to happen to you this week. Like, oh my God, something so unusual is actually going to happen to you this week, my gorgeous Pisces, indeed. And it's all going to start right at the beginning of this week. You know, what's going to happen to you is actually going to be like, this is going to be like really mysterious, really strange, really unusual, really bizarre. To start with, you're not going to be able to understand where this is coming from, but almost immediately, shortly after, you will know exactly what to do. It is gonna be such a powerful moment in time, and it's going to happen in the middle of the night, right at the beginning of this week. So something really strange is going to happen to you, my gorgeous Pisces, right in the middle of the night. And this in itself, it's like really kind of going to come to you as some kind of form, in a form of like a realization, because something is going to be persistently on your mind right at the beginning of this week. Something is going to bother you throughout that particular day at the beginning of this week, you know. Something is going to be bothering you throughout that particular day. I say throughout that particular day because this, what I said, is going to happen to you, you know, in the middle of the night. It's like going to be related what was going on in your mind, you know, on that particular day before that night, for example. So something is going to be bothering you to start with in a daytime. You know, something is going to happen to you that you're not going to like it. It's going to be really unusual, but it's nothing major. It's more about something not happening, something not becoming true, which is going to make you feel like a little bit dissatisfied, and it's just going to put you in a mode of like this dissatisfaction. And this is going to be bothering you because you were really expecting something to happen. You were really expecting something to unfold by this moment in time, by this point in time. And the news and information and realization that you're going to have within the daytime, you know, is just really going to leave you kind of a little bit lost. And this in itself, it's really kind of going to put you in this specific mode where it's going to seem like that this is like kind of bothering you, but subconsciously you are by yourself literally going to be building to this particular moment in time. This is going to be so magical, and it's going to be quite sacred indeed, the way this is going to unfold. So with your own dissatisfaction, without you even realizing, like something is going to be persistently bothering you and something is going to be persistently on your mind, you are going to be preparing yourself through your subconscious mind to this absolutely mind-blowing moment, which is going to happen that night, that evening, in the middle of the night. You are still kind of going to have these certain things on your mind, and then just completely out of the blue, just like a moment, you forget about it. Maybe you're gonna kind of fall asleep, and most likely you're gonna awake within half an hour, because this is just gonna be like, oh my God, persistently on your mind. Something is really gonna be persistently on your mind. So you're probably going to fall asleep, and you're gonna wake up in like about half an hour, in an hour, in a couple of hours, and then suddenly something is going to be on your mind. And you know, when you fell asleep, like, you know, you are within so many different dimensions. When you fell asleep, you have astral projections every night. You dream every night. We are so powerful. We understand so much more than we understand when we are conscious, for example, because when we are sleeping, we tap into very, very sacred dimensions. We know all the answers to all our problems. We know all the answers to the world problems and beyond and beyond and beyond. And this is the magical power, my gorgeous Pisces, that I'm actually referring to, that I'm talking about. So you're gonna drift, you're gonna fall asleep, you're gonna drift into some kind of sleep, and that in itself, and then you're gonna wake up. because you are gonna tap into this absolutely mind-blowing dimension, and then when you wake up, you're gonna realize something so big, you're gonna realize something so important, you're gonna realize something so huge, and that in itself, it's pretty much so going to reveal this path, this road, this journey, this spiritual mind-blowing journey that you're gonna feel so connected to. And this in itself, it's like, oh my God, this in itself, you're not going to be able to stop thinking about. So what is going to be revealed to you, it's your own direction. How? Well, suddenly you're going to feel so adamant to make the certain move, to make the certain step. And this move and this step you've been thinking about for so long, but every single time when you thought about it, and every single time when you're so close to make this step, you would just get scared and you would pull back because you would get worried. Oh my God, what if this is not the right thing to do? What if this is too major? You know what? It is quite big. It is quite major. This in itself, it's really kind of going to, require from you to understand that, this is going to be a really, really big step. But you can't make this big step without a leap of faith. You can't make this big step if you are determined. If you're not determined, you can't make this step if you're ready for it. If there is only a little bit of doubt to make this step when it comes to that direction, which is going to be revealed to you, because you're going to feel so passionate about doing something. You're going to feel so passionate about making the necessary step, and you're not going to be able to ignore this. But if there is even one little bit of like a doubt here, everything is going to go to waste. Okay, nothing is going to work if there is a little bit of doubt. So you really need to understand that you can't do this without having a leap of faith. It's all happening in such a divine way. It's all happening in such a divine time. And this is why you needed to fall asleep. You needed to be subconscious and tap into the world of this beautiful magic that you are going to come out of. And that in itself, it's like as soon as you kind of wake up, you will know there is this direction that it's going to be on your mind. But then again, it's not the first time, but just now you're gonna feel different. It's almost like a confirmation. That's the word that I'm looking for. It's like a confirmation about something you've been thinking about for so long. And this in itself, it's like, oh my God, it's going to lead towards one of the biggest rebirths of your lives, my gorgeous Piscelini. And you will see, like, the next day or a couple of days later, you will see how different you're gonna feel. Within the next couple of days later, there are gonna be so many signs, and there are gonna be so many synchronicities, and you're gonna find this mind-blowing. At times, you're gonna think like you're losing your mind a little bit. How many synchronicities are going to be a couple of days later? But this is only to make sure, make sure for you to kind of understand the extent of this, especially when it comes to this having an effect on your life. It is all gonna seem mysterious from A till Z, like literally, but this is superb because it's happening in a divine time. So within the next couple of days, that direction, there are gonna be so many signs and so many synchronicities which are gonna be guiding you towards this. And there are a couple of weird things, bizarre things that are gonna happen within the next couple of days with things that you're doing with your everyday life. And there's a couple of bizarre things that are only gonna kind of make you feel like how bored you may be, or how bored you actually are with certain aspects of your life. And this is all happening for a reason, my gorgeous Piscelini, only to remind you to actually take that path, to take that journey. Trust me, this is happening in a divine time, and there is a very, very special reason for it indeed. In exactly 15 days after this moment in time, time, in as little as 15 days, you are gonna become aware of this, like just such an incredible opportunity that you wouldn't even kind of notice normally. You wouldn't even pay attention to it, but you need to go through certain things in order to get there. So in 15 days, there is already going to be an opportunity that you are going to become aware of, but this opportunity that you're going to become aware of, it's only like kind of like, it's not going to be for you to grab right on in 15 days, but you're gonna become, you're gonna kind of become aware of like that very, very shortly. There is gonna be a really important opportunity, which is gonna be the direct continuation of this. But in the meantime, there are a few things that you're gonna kind of like feel very strong connection to learn suddenly that haven't got anything to do with what I said so far, but somehow it's gonna be leading you again towards that particular direction. So you can expect signs, you can expect synchronicities, and in particular when you see number 777 and number 333 and number 111, these are and number 444, sorry, these are the numbers that you need to pay attention to, because at the same time, as soon as you become aware of these numbers, on one hand you need to kind of like really release some kind of negativity which is on your mind as soon as you become aware of these numbers, but at the same time, as soon as you become aware of these numbers, you need to understand that very shortly after, there is something that you are going to hear. There is something that you are going to hear, something really specific which you are going to hear. And what you're going to hear, it's like kind of going to be connected to the missing elements that you need to know at this stage of your spiritual journey, because what you're going to hear, it's really going to put your mind to rest. What you're going to hear, it's going to give you confidence. What you're going to hear, it's going to give you courage. And this in itself, it's also connected to you becoming, or you, when you see these numbers, you're going to also hear and become aware of other people's unfortunate situations. I know it's kind of dark, but you're going to hear about other people's unfortunate situations, and this is really going to nicely going to be preparing you that and just reminding you and nudging you, towards this particular direction. So these signs, on one hand, you need to reflect what is going to be on your mind when you hear it, in case you are still thinking negatively about the things ahead of you, because you shouldn't. But then on another hand, as soon as you become aware of these numbers through the synchronicity and signs, you will know that you are gonna hear like a specific informations shortly after, which are gonna only make you like really kind of like a more excited. But you're also going to hear like about unfortunate situations about some other people, and that in itself, it's only going to contribute towards you kind of standing very, very firm and knowing exactly what do you need to do and what do you want to do in order to protect your life, in order to change your life, and also in order to make the most out of life. Because this is a lot to do with your following your passion, but also understanding that this life, we do not live for 300 years. We are only here for a very short amount of time, and this is why this is ever so important. You're going to become so determined, you're going to become so confident like you haven't been in absolute ages. But there is one more thing that I would like to stress, that about around the beginning of this week, my gorgeous Piscelini, you are going to have some kind of temptation here that you really need to avoid, and this in itself, it's really going to show your strength. You are going to have this temptation that you're going to become aware of this temptation also at the beginning of the week. And when you become aware of this temptation, it's like instantly there is something that it's going to be putting you off from this temptation. It's going to be like a temptation, like something it's going to be offered to you, or something it's going to be around you for you to take, type of thing. But I would avoid this. But then again, you will know that this is a temptation, because at the same time, every single time when we do come across some kind of temptation, then we can feel something within. And this temptation is going to come in form of someone offering something to you. Someone is going to offer something to you. But this is going to be the temptation, because you will know that it's coming from someone dark, someone negative, someone strange, and somebody who is really dishonest. But almost as if you're going to be kind of ignoring this, but you must not ignore this whatsoever. So you need to really ignore this temptation. And this in itself is going to be so important, because at the same time, but you will know something is wrong. You will know that something is wrong, and you don't want to deal or have a business or do something with somebody who you feel so off about, somebody who you feel, somebody who's very dark and very negative. You know that there are going to be an elements of that, whatever we are dealing with when we deal with people like this. So you just need to kind of remind yourself of that, my gorgeous Piscelini. Indeed, this in itself, it's really going to, this is like kind of gonna really reflect on your own strength. And first of all, almost like your own strength is actually going to be tested here, but the more you kind of respond to it in a positive way, in an optimistic way, without like kind of creating any scene or anything like that, the more successful this situation is going to be. Because very shortly after, you're going to realize that if you went for it, what was offered to you, that would be very dodgy, something very dodgy, something like some kind of double dealing, is to do with the people being dishonest. This is all what you're going to find out few days after that moment in time. So this is why you need to remain strong in order to keep the balance going. Indeed, by the time you get to the mid part of this week, my gorgeous Piscelini, by the time you get to the mid part of this week, this is brilliant, you know, because you know, a completely unexpected like situation here, completely unexpected situation. It's also going to like really gonna make you feel so good because of two reasons, you know. Reason number one, this unexpected situation, it's more to do with an unexpected opportunity, and this unexpected opportunity, it's more to do with like a very, very bright prospect, like so many bright prospects that you're going to become aware of, that you will want to apply onto your lives. But this in itself, it's also going to kind of, on another hand, going to require from you to walk away and move on from like, you know, the part of your life that you've been like kind of on, and something that was part of your life for such a long time, something that you've been doing for absolute ages. But you need to work out what this is, because this is becoming very monotone, this is becoming very boring, this is like really slowing your life, and it's slowing you down, because you know, it's something that you've been doing for absolute ages. Maybe it's to do with a certain job, maybe it's to do with a certain work, maybe it's to do with a certain, like, I don't know, relationship, maybe it's to do with a certain people in your life, but there is something that it's making you feel really unhappy and uncomfortable. For the last 8 months you have been feeling like this. So you need to work out what this is that you actually need to kind of walk away from. And that in itself, it's also, as soon as you make that decision, you are going to become aware of like some kind of a very, very sneaky person, and that in itself, it's only going to prove your own point to you, my gorgeous Piscelini. Indeed. So I really do like this unexpected situation, because it is going to bring you a really important opportunity. But let me tell you something, this is not just any opportunity. Do you get my drift? You know what I mean? This is not just any opportunity. Do you get me? This is a lot to do with your destiny. Okay, this is a lot to do with your life purpose. This is a lot to do with your karma. This is a lot to do with your spiritual journey. So this is an opportunity that I'm talking about. Yes, there are bright prospects, but you have to work out what this is. Because I know at the same time that, you know, this is a lot to do with your personal life. Because your personal life, it's also going to need some kind of changes. And that in itself, it's going to make you like, oh my God. But it's more like about you kind of like walking away from something and moving on from something towards something much, much, much better anyway. Very shortly after, you're going to become aware of this sneaky person, and you are going to be very glad that you had all this on your mind, because all this is going to be leading towards you like a really kind of realizing this like very, very important like kind of like potential here. You know, this is all kind of about very kind of important potential, and that you're going to realize, oh my God, so much potential. This is going to change my life so much. This is going to change my life drastically. This is going to change my life dramatically. So much potential you're going to realize that you're not even going to kind of become aware of straight away. And this is why, because it's to do with your destiny, with your karma, with your life purpose, with your spiritual journey. You need to take this on, my gorgeous Piscelini, and see where exactly this is going to take you. It's just so important. I know know it's going to take time, but I know at the same time that you need to be patient, and also at the same time you are going to be thinking a lot about what you've learned within the last few years, how much you've changed within the last few years, and there's certain aspects that you're going to be reflecting on, and you're going to realize how much you want to kind of mix certain things together, like the things that you've learned about yourself and about a bigger picture within the last year or so, I suppose, and now just a mixing all together and just a seeing where this is actually going to take you. You are gonna like be thinking about so many different options, so many different opportunities, but then at the same time there is like kind of something that you're gonna need to learn, something that you're gonna need to kind of dive in. There is you know, it's a lot to do with things that you're doing right now in your life, but then again at the same time an elements of like you're going to become aware of these elements of like, oh my god, like it's a lot to do with the natural progression, so it's going to come to you. You don't have to worry. So for example, if you are, I don't know, if you're maybe I don't know, if you're a painter, if you're painting and then you're painting on your life, so naturally, you know, something is going to come to you. Okay, I want to try painting houses, I want to try painting ceilings, I want to try painting on ceilings, I want to try, I don't know, just like a kind of different variations of what you can do in order to make the best possible progress. They're very interesting ideas and realizations that you are going to have, and but there is a one specific one that you're going to realize, oh my god, I want to do this, but I need to kind of like learn something, I need to read up about something, I need to explore something before I do it. So I can see you reading, I can see you finding out, I can see you trying things, you know. But when it comes to you really kind of realizing, when it comes to you like kind of facing variety of options here, so that's the one that you need to pay attention to, the one that you need to kind of like gather some kind of knowledge right now, because this is going to work and match perfectly with your current vibration right now, and your current vibration requires knowledge as well. But sometimes we don't even realize, sometimes things happen spontaneously, and that's exactly what's going to be going on here. By the time you get to the last part of this week, my gorgeous Pisceini, by the time you get to the last part of this week, you know it's brilliant. Karma Mama is coming back and it's about to kiss you like this. Do you know what? This is fantastic because it's a lot to do with some kind of contribution. Some kind of contribution. Bless your heart. This can only be good. This can only be positive. This can only be brilliant. You helped someone so much. Maybe you don't even know the extent of how much you've actually helped someone. I think that you helped like someone so much that, you know, and you helped someone so much, but it's also a lot to do with your contribution. So on one hand you were like helping to someone so much, but on another hand, to describe all this, it's more about contribution that you made. And this in itself, it's a lot to do with the karma, and it's a lot to do with what you were worried about, what gave you sleepless nights, what brought you anxiety, what brought you stress over the last, like, I don't know, the last 9 months, what brought you so much stress, anxiety, negativity, sadness, sleepless nights. You were like, oh God, I don't know what I'm gonna do, You see what I mean? But baby, you were doing absolutely the right thing. Remember what I said, it's about the contribution, and now this contribution, this is gonna blow you away. This is really gonna blow you away because it's going to be about a really amazing news or a message, and you will know what am I talking about. And this is going to blow you away because on one hand you almost forgot about it, on another hand you didn't even understand the extent of your own contribution. And you're very powerful, you're very creative indeed, but at the same time, you know, this is going to blow you away because I said for the last 9 months you were worrying so much. and it's connected to this. So this in itself, it's gonna be brilliant because it is going to really bring you completely different perspective, and that in itself, you know, it's gonna bring a completely different perspective. But it's, first of all, before that happens, you know, first of all, it's gonna be like you're gonna become aware of this contribution then you've been worried about so much, and then that in itself is, first of all, sorry, going to make you aware that now you need to just kind of pause a little bit. Now you need to kind of pause a little bit. Now you need to kind of slow down a little bit. Now you need to kind of chill out a little bit. It's going to help you what you need to let go of, but it's also going to help you like kind of to see things in a completely different perspective, especially when it comes to the actual, you know, from a different perspective, especially when it comes to, you know, the idea, some kind of idea, which is now going to become like pretty much so a powerful moment, such a powerful moment of change. And it's going to be connected to this deep insight that you are going to have. You are going to have such a remarkable idea here. And this idea that you are going to have, it's not something that you are going to have for the first time ever. You had this idea before. This was before in your mind. But the way things are going to happen, the way things are going to unfold, you know, after you kind of become aware of this amazing mind-blowing contribution that you've been worried about for so long, you know, after that happens, you know, this vibration and energy is just going to put you in a completely different mode, where on one hand you are really kind of going to realize, oh my God, I need to just pause a little bit. I need to stop a little bit. And when you do that, I need to just chill out a little bit now because I don't have to worry about this. And when that happens, something amazing is going to happen, because this in itself is bringing you whole new perspective on that idea that you've already had, the whole new perspective. You're going to find this absolutely enlightening, my gorgeous Pisces leaning, you know, because at the same time it's going to be different than before now, because now you are kind of contributing and now you are kind of benefiting from this deep insight, and that in itself, it's really going to show you what do you need to sacrifice in order to start change, and what do you need to release. So it's a lot about this idea, which, oh my God, this idea is going to bring stability into your life. This idea is going to bring structure into your life. This idea, it's like, oh my God, this is bringing protection into your life. This is bringing like a focus into your life. This is bringing practicality into your life. This is absolutely brilliant, my gorgeous Pisces indeed. And also, when it comes to the last part of this week, you know, it's like basically a lot to do with like now you you are gonna feel maybe just a little bit like you're doing a lot. But you must not let that put you off. At around the end of the week, you're going to feel like, oh my God, I'm doing so much, I'm doing a lot. But then at the same time, this is needed. I know it's a little bit off-putting, but this is needed, because when you think at around the end of the week how much you're doing a lot, you're going to realize that you're juggling quite a lot of things at the same time. But that's needed, because that's going to make you realize that, you know what, now I had enough of that. I want to make a decision. And that decision that you're going to make, it's going to be brilliant, because at the same time, it's pretty much so you wouldn't be able to make this if you didn't feel courageous in the first place, and you wouldn't feel courageous at all, like how courageous you are going to feel. The only reason why you're going to feel so courageous is only because there are so many things that are actually going to contribute towards this, what are going to be happening to you from the beginning of this week. So this is going to be the last little drop that is going to make your gorgeous spiritual glass overflowing. Just remember, it is all happening in divine time. So this, it's going to be needed from you to feel a little bit kind of stressed, like, oh, I've got so much on like going on. And this is important, because it's going to put you in a mode to make this like kind of decision. But then again, that decision, it's like pretty much so a lot to do. It is coming from from your determination, but it's also a lot to do with a brand new direction that you're going to become aware of here. There is some kind of new project that is going to be on your mind. Something is going to inspire you. It's a lot. This is going to lead towards an urge to create. This is all going to lead towards an urge to create, my gorgeous Piscelini. It's going to lead towards your own willpower, your own desire. You know, it's a lot to do with you understanding exactly how much potential this new beginning, which is going to be on your mind, it's going to bring you, and at the same time how much growth this is going to bring into your life. It's like, oh my God. Okay, my gorgeous Piscelini, thank you ever so much for watching my videos. I'm sending you brightest blessings, lots of love, healing, peace and light to every single one of you. Sasha Bonasin, psychic medium. Love you. Bye.